Hello, everyone. Today, I will be speaking to you about the United States immigration policy system and how it is gender biased. Through the years of our social advancement, our immigration system has stayed behind. Today, the United States still follows heteronormative immigration laws that do not equally apply to those in same-sex marriages, creating the gender bias that places us at an ignorant level by not adapting to the societal changes. Additionally, many minority women in a heteronormative relationship or marriage entering the United States are depending on their husbands for the success of their future in the country. To begin, we have to understand the series of changes the immigrant population undergoes regardless of their gender or sex. Those who come to the United States in hopes of restarting their life or even creating a new one enter the country with a blank canvas where they are independently responsible of achieving this social citizenship before they are even able to achieve the legal citizenship. Kimberly Crenshaw's intersectionality comes into play since coming to the United States means starting from scratch, where people cannot obviously fully dismantle their personality. This is where their personality gets broken down due to our diverse population. However, the different intersections that define who we are not always seen as positive. During our process of achieving this social citizenship, we undergo scrutiny to then achieve the legal citizenship. Some of the examples I found during my research of the existence of gender bias in the United States immigration policy are listed here. To begin, in 1990, Congress amended the marriage fraud provisions of the Immigration and Nationality Act to protect women who were battered by their citizen husbands. This was because originally the provisions of the act requested the person coming to the country to marry the American citizen to be properly married for 2 years before applying for the permanent resident status. With these requirements, women would avoid leaving their husbands as much as possible, regardless of the level of abuse they were experiencing due to fear of deportation. Congress amended this provision, allowing people who are experiencing such domestic abuse to have a waiver to these requirements. However, this is where we tie back to people's intersectionalities, since usually women of color were not able to meet the conditions for a waiver. Since immigrant women are usually limited to the resources that provide this evidence to get such waiver, becoming the victims of intersectional disempowerment. Additionally, there are many cultural barriers that further discourage immigrant women of leaving their citizen husbands. Many immigrant women are dependent on their husbands as their link to the world outside their homes. Similarly to this is what happened to Emilio. For some background information, the Uniting American Families Act was introduced to Congress in 2005 to recognize the permanent partnerships between same-sex people for legal immigration purposes into the United States. In order to be recognized under such bill, one of the requirements is to not be able to marry in a cognizable or acceptable way under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Hence, it's gender biased. The UAFA was trying to avoid the Defense of Marriage Act, which limits the definition of marriage to a man and a woman, restricting gay marriage. Here, the addition of opportunities for permanent partnerships are only added to highlight the benefits attached to heterosexual marriage. For Emilio and Tom, only same-sex partnership ties seem to be the only thing promising secure legal status. Here, there are multiple intersections that get in the way of their legal status in the country. The last example I found during my research is the Boutelier versus INS case in 1967. Clive Boutelier was a Canadian immigrant of the United States who was deported for being homosexual, decision which was based on the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, stating that aliens afflicted with psychopathic personality shall be excludable from admission to the United States, with the intent of describing homosexual people as such. This case occurred during a time period when people were in total disagreement with Freud's beliefs that it was as humanly possible to be homosexual than to be heterosexual. There are multiple reasons as to why these beliefs continue to happen, why these treatments continue to happen after so many years, and the main reason being people themselves. Most people find it hard to believe that gender is constantly created and recreated out of human interaction and out of social life. In her reading, Laura explains to us how humans are constantly doing gender. Believe it or not, gender is one of the main ways we organize ourselves, which is why we are doing it, even without knowing. Most of our actions are shaped by our gender. However, these roles that we follow are socially constructed and continuously followed because we have been conditioned to do so. When we see difference, for some people, difference means fear, and they become alerted to it. For humans, the social is natural, which is why we continue to follow what society says. After this lesson and discussion, tell me what do you think? Before today, have you ever thought about such topic? How does this impact you? Is changing the system really the solution? Why or why not? Would being more inclusive aid the discrimination on non-normative genders? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Thank you so much.